Hi, everyone. Thank you, as always, for tuning into this episode of Chewing on Pearls. It was recorded before the holidays, so Patrick and I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everyone who enjoys our show, and we hope you all have a wonderful 2025. A quick note that the fashion credits in this episode were sourced, as always, from La Maison Gaga, a noted fashion resource on Instagram, Twitter, and on their blog. You can follow them at La Maison Gaga, one word. Thank you to them, as always, for providing such thorough information on Gaga's sartorial choices. And last but not least, if you haven't yet, check out our collaborative playlist on Spotify called Chew on That, featuring some of the Gaga songs we've been listening to lately, but also some other songs that we've been listening to. We curated that quite intentionally for you guys, so give it a listen if you haven't yet, and enjoy the episode.
The music and the performance and the fashion are one. I don't separate my art from my life. It is one whole thing.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Patrick.
I'm Patrick.
And I'm Tom, and this is Chewing on Pearls, the show where we dissect and decipher Lady Gaga's chameleonic career and its impact, one pearl at a time.
We're back.
So we're back. And before we jump into the content of this episode, another fashion episode for you Glitter and Grease fans, if you know, you know, we just wanted to congratulate Lady Gaga. As if she needs it from us. The Spotify Wrapped came out, and her and Bruno's song Die With a Smile, which we covered as our first official episode of the show, was number 10 on the most streamed global songs list and number 1 on the most viral songs list, which is crazy because it came out in August. So congrats, mother.
And might we mention, our Spotify Wrapped for Chewing on Pearls came out.
Yes.
And we were the top podcast for 5 people.
5 people. That's actually huge for us.
Yeah.
Because we're new in the game.
Yeah, totally.
And
no SpawnCon over here.
Yeah. So on this episode of Chewing on Pearls, we're chewing on some of the highest heels ever worn by the one and only Lady Gaga. We know that our gal loves shoes and has a long history with super high platforms and funky heels, but here we've selected some notable ones that skim the surface of her shoe wearing, but point to the patterns and preferences of her sartorial palette. And her shoe game.
Her shoe game on lock.
Always. Always. Even when she's wearing like a sneaker going to the Starbucks, I'm like, okay,
sneaker.
Come on, shoe.
I'm always, whenever I see her in like a flat, and like, you know what? She's taking care of her body.
Absolutely.
She's listening to her body. She's listening to the medical professionals.
I'm like, that's self-care.
But now she has to wear those shoes because she wore these shoes that we're about to talk about.
Exactly. So to all the monsters who complain that she doesn't go high enough anymore, you're the reason she broke her hip.
Period.
And you should feel bad.
You're the reason we were robbed of the Born This Way ball experience.
Boston and Chicago. Could you imagine?
Devastating.
Worst day of my life. Okay, so we're going to begin, I think, first by talking about pleasers. We're going to bring up a specific look, but I think we just need to say that the pleaser boot is a long honored staple in Gaga's closet and her wardrobe.
I mean, a shoe that is synonymous with the divas and dolls.
Yeah. Drag, strippers,
sex
club
workers.
Kids. And like her wearing them often with like fucking couture is so fierce.
So
they're
fierce.
Under $100, made out of plastic. They fall apart with use. Also her sometimes just wearing them with like a t-shirt.
Right.
Like when she announced Harlequin with, or like hinted at it with that t-shirt that said Harlequin Radio.
Right.
She was wearing just like that giant t-shirt and these pleasers to go to a restaurant, like fierce. So she's worn many styles of the pleaser shoe. I think the most classic and iconic is the Extreme boot, which is an 8-inch heel. I think it's like a 3.5-inch platform. These are Fierce, iconic. She's also worn the Adore boot, which is a little lower. She's also worn the Flamingo, which is the same height, but goes higher up the leg in the structure of the shoe. But pleasers are going to come up in this episode a few times. Today, we're going to point out a specific look that she wore in April of 2010, walking through Tokyo's Narita International Airport. She's also wearing them with a look from Charles Yusuf's graduate collection from Parsons from that year, notably inspired by Klaus Nomi. So the look is a riff on a corduroy pantsuit. However, it's cropped, boxy, geometric. She's wearing black sunglasses, Chanel motorcycle gloves, and then she has this giant white Birkin. All Birkins are the same size, but it looks so giant on her, that has a love letter to her Japanese fans written on the bag. I recall that people were mad about this.
Yeah, totally.
They're like, when I was researching this episode, I found so many headlines that were like, Gaga destroys another Birkin bag.
Defaces $20,000 purse.
Right.
But it's so inherently punk and Gaga to be like, I'm in Japan. Let me write a message in Japanese to my fans on my bag that they're all going to take photos of me wearing.
Yeah. And it's so 2010. She's like platinum blonde, baring her teeth like a monster, doing a monster paw at her fans in the airport. And I think it's important to
Blackberry in other hand.
Absolutely. She's about to tweet. I think it's important to note that the pleaser boot kind of came into focus in her wardrobe during the Fame Monster era.
Totally.
For sure. It's interesting to talk about it as this like stepping into bigger shoes, literally, because she was gaining fame and like success at this rapid rate. She like needed to like appear larger in some ways, whether that was a conscious decision or not. Her presence during the Fame Monster era becomes much more effective physically.
And speaking of bigger shoes,
yes,
we roll on into June of 2010. Gaga arrives at London Heathrow Airport wearing custom black leather heelless boot platforms by Noritaka Tatehana, another name that you'll hear a lot in this episode. Godfather of the heelless heel.
Absolutely.
The death-defying heights of high heels.
Yes.
Magic.
Ruined Gaga's body, but we worship you.
Worship. So this pair is about 12 inches high.
I want to say 12 to 14 here.
It's interesting because they're heelless, but it's like they come down to like a cylinder rather than having like the cut off heel, the kind dangling.
Of like cantilevered heel of it. Yeah.
She's also wearing chaps by Margiela with like a giant leather train and vintage YSL sunglasses and a black bandana. This, of course, is the notable look that she's wearing when she takes a tumble in the airport. This experience so notable that it makes the cut for the lyrics of do what you want with my body.
Absolutely. Here she is like quintessential Gaga. Like I just love her in this kind of short blonde hair that may be her real hair.
Yes. This is like badass road devil. I'm touring. I'm all around the world.
Right.
I'm looking kind of sickly. Like,
like I'm Marilyn Monroe and I'm Madonna and I'm a biker chick and I'm an alien and no one has ever done what I'm doing. And I know it. Like there's something so, like you said, badass about this. And I love that she falls in this look.
Right. It's humbling.
It's iconic. Yeah.
It's incredible. And she was there to go to an Elton John party and a show studio exhibition in London. And I bet this was, they were probably working on something, her and Nick Knight.
Yeah. And moving along to September of 2010. This is all in the same year. Gaga attends the VMAs in what she says is one of the most important looks she's ever worn. She wears a pair of Alexander McQueen's infamous armadillo snakeskin heels from his spring-summer 2010 collection, Plato's Atlantis. These are 12 inches high, also featured in the Bad Romance video. She wears them with a custom Alexander McQueen gown inspired by his fall-winter 2010 collection, Angels and Demons, and a feather headpiece by Perry Meek. This is the same night that she later wears the iconic meat dress.
So these shoes are incredible, and Gaga has a history with them. Obviously, when she's wearing a lot of the fashions that she wears throughout her career, she doesn't always own these pieces.
Right.
But these are actually shoes that later in her career she bought at auction.
Yes.
Because they're that important to her. And I remember she made like a post of her, like, I feel like she was still with Taylor Kinney at the time. And he like took a photo of her on like some balcony at some like hotel, and they had just been shipped to her. And she's like holding the shoe, wearing the shoe. It's like, this is an important shoe to her.
It's so important. And I think culturally it's important. It marks this translation of fashion couture, like pieces from runway to like pop mainstream in a way.
Totally.
Not that the divas before her weren't wearing couture, but like in the digital age that Gaga is like bringing the world into, to like see something on Vogue runway and then to see it on her and like to make that connection. Like everyone knows these are McQueen.
Yeah.
Like
and that at the time people were like drag queens were trying to make these shoes.
Yes,
they were like taping like cups to their feet and like doing things to like try to replicate.
Right. There's like something to be said about like the average, maybe not the average person, but like the average artsy person would look at this and be like, I absolutely know that those are McQueen shoes. The dress, they might not, you know, like there's something about the shoe that's so iconic.
The dress here too is that this was like the last collection that Lee worked on and then the atelier finished. And like this look is important because of the connection to Alexander McQueen, but also because Gaga is with discharged soldiers that were unrightfully discharged from military service under Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Yes.
So just like a very powerful shoe, a very important night for Gaga, for her fans. And like you said, like this shoe is synonymous with Gaga and people are like, oh, that's an Alexander McQueen shoe.
Right. Exactly. It's interesting. It's like you've seen so many divas before her in like iconic looks that they're known for, but like there are certain photos of like Madonna and Cher where I couldn't tell you that that's like, you know, 1985 Chanel or something. Right, you know what I mean? Like it really speaks to, again, like the paparazzi of it all, the digital age of it all.
Moving right along, we are talking about a look from February 2011. So Gaga does a photo shoot with fashion photographer Mariano Vivanco as promo for Born This Way. Big deal, big photographer, styled by Nicola, obviously. And the footwear throughout the shoot is insanely high. In a lesser remembered look from the shoot, Gaga wears the 13-inch void sandals made out of mahogany, vinyl, and saw blades by Omar Angel Perez. She also wears a clear vinyl jacket and suspender dress from Guerlain Jeans Spring Summer 2010 collection, along with a nude panty. If you haven't seen the shoot, check it out because there are some wild shots. There's like a lot of interesting geometry. She wears the Tatehana unicorn shoes. Yeah. She wears other heelless heels of his. There's like that image with the big white hat and the fabric flowing behind her.
They shot a ton of photos on this set. There are 13 looks.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And they're like super androgynous, super formal.
Yes.
Super fashion. Like she's really covered up in some of them and then she's super naked in other ones.
And like notably, this is again where there are like a few different hands in the pot where Tara Savello was doing a lot of her makeup at the time.
Right.
And here, Billy B did the Born This Way makeup for editorial.
And it's this interesting kind of like, she has like the freckles and the little micro bangs.
Yeah. It's like kind of like a different, or it's like an elevated take on what we know as like the Born This Way beauty and hair moment with like the multicolored hair. This photo is not as used, if at all, for any promo that she does, but it's like, it's been released from the shoot. It's black and white. And then there's another one that is color that is like very hard to find. I believe in the shoot, she also wears like a much higher quote unquote shoe that I did not include because it's truly just like a molded rectangle that's like 16 inches high.
Yeah, I know.
And has like a rope over her foot.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what?
It's not actually a shoe.
I was like, this is art. This is sculpture. This is art and sculpture, but it's definitely a shoe. Fun fact. They also shot these kind of like boudoir photos on this day with Vivanco, and she's in the Born This Way facial prosthetics and hair and makeup like we just spoke about, but she's kind of like wrapped in sheets and stuff. And it was all meant for GQ. But they turned the photos down because they said they weren't sexy enough, and then she refused to reshoot them.
Okay.
So like I've seen those photos many a time, had no idea that they were meant for GQ, which is
because she really does have the facial prosthetics and the micro bangs.
Yeah. But she's like naked and like holding a sheet against her breasts. Like,
and they're like, yeah, no, not going to cut it.
Yeah. I just love that lore. And then moving right along to full swing Born This Way promotion, May of 2011, Gaga appears at a press conference in Mexico City wearing some of the most famous shoes she's ever worn. They're custom black Lady Mary 14-inch platform boots by Noritaka Tatehana. She's also wearing a semi-sheer cobalt blue dress with shoulder pads from Mugler's Fall/Winter 2011 collection, which Nicola was the creative director of, along with matching tights, square pasties, and a stone necklace adorned with a cross. This is one of my favorite Gaga looks of all time, so I had to include it. Even though she's worn these boots many times, this is the one that I wanted to show. The thing that I love about the Tatehana heelless boot here, where her like heel is cantilevered off of the back, is that they like make her so giant, but they also like dwarf her weirdly.
Yeah, because you see her actual foot, like you see her heel, and then you realize that it's like it's essentially like standing on a box.
She's almost like 25% shoe here.
Yeah,
it's fascinating, and I do love this look because I love anything sheer where there's like an element of nudity but not fully there, but also because it does in a way feel like an outlier, even though it's Mugler, in the kind of Born This Way aesthetic, and that it's this bright
there
blue.
was like this period of time where she was like cobalt blue, royal blue are Born This Way colors,
right?
For like a hot second in the
and
summer,
then it disappeared,
and then it was gone. Yeah,
it was
like May, June, gone.
Yeah, this and then like the Judas
jacket, and then she wears the vintage Mugler when she does that You and I radio performance.
Yes,
with the little silver breasts.
I'm like, Gaga, if you're listening, bring back cobalt blue.
Yeah,
for LG7. Blue. She looks really beautiful in blue. And of course, the iconic Born This Way, like mismatched hair is here too. But yeah, this is one of my favorite looks.
Yeah, and the shoe, this Lady Mary, definitely iconic. In rotation, different colors. She wears it a lot. Mm-hmm. Moving right along, September 2011, Gaga is photographed by Annie Leibovitz for Vanity Fair's January 2012 issue. There are some incredible looks in the shoot, but perhaps the most memorable is the one where she wears two different feather hats by Ashley Lloyd, one resembling a pigeon feathers, the other custom made for the shoot with brown feathers. I think they're pheasant. She also wears the highest recorded heel she's ever worn, custom 18.5-inch Tatehana heelless platform boots wrapped in strips of nude and tan leather. Between the headpieces and shoes, she wears a bronze lace and feathered ball gown from Valentino's Fall/Winter 2011 Haute Couture collection and a fur coat from Michael Kors Fall/Winter 2011 collection. This again is the time where she's being coy about fur. Uh-huh. The final photos were taken at a laundromat, so her height is really striking there. You really do get a sense of the scale.
Yes.
I love that photo of her so much. And she has the little diamond bunny teeth.
Yes.
There's also a lot of paparazzi and fan photos taken as she walked down the street in this look. Some were outraged, concerned that her headpiece was made of an actual pigeon. We're not sure. Forever iconic.
I actually came across a blog that was like the pigeon blog, and it was like Lady Gaga, like all the pigeons in New York City should shit in her hot dog and like attack her, like she's so entitled, like whatever. So
that's incredible. And at a certain point she had to be carried.
Yeah.
Which is super cute.
There's actually a video behind the scenes of this shoot where you see like between shots, she's towering, right? But she's like leaning over on Nicola. Like he's just kind of like bracing her at a point. And then some man, I don't know, is like carrying her later, like you said. But this is one of my favorite looks she's ever worn. And again, this isn't her like walking through an airport. This is like for a photo shoot. But the fact that she was like on the street in public to get to the location in this look is so iconic to me.
And like moving a bit.
Yeah, people saw her in this look like because she was on the street before the issue of Vanity Fair came out.
Yeah.
It's just incredibly editorial. I think she looks beautiful in a dark way, which we love.
Yeah, I love the beauty here. This really smoky eye, no brow.
Yeah.
diamond bunny teeth.
Yeah. Tooth gems. Like the girls now are just discovering tooth gems.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite tonal looks from Gaga. And then moving along in December of 2011, Gaga releases the Marry the Night music video. It's funny. We've talked about this time period a lot in the last couple of episodes, and we're finally talking about something in this music video.
Right.
The second segment of the video, after the famous hospital scene, which is called the Prelude Pathétique, shows Gaga on stage as a ballerina of sorts amongst 5 other ballerinas. She collapses on the floor, weeping and grasping onto one of their legs, wearing 18-inch custom baby pink Lady Point ballerina shoes by Tatehana. She also wears a full custom look by Atsuki Kudo, consisting of a blush pink latex top with bell sleeves and a pleated tutu. She also wore these shoes on Ellen.
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, which is so
God.
crazy.
I can't believe I just said
She's
that.
like, I need to get 2 wears out of these shoes.
Yeah.
My music video and Ellen.
And the girls really were on Ellen back in the day.
Yeah. She has such a limited range of motion in these shoes. Like I can only imagine like the core and leg strength it took to even like do any kind of movement in them.
Yeah, I love the scene of her trying to like develop her leg at the bar. And you can tell like her quad is gripping so hard because these shoes are so fucking heavy.
And then she throws herself on the ground, which is a far fall in these 18-inch shoes to grasp this ballerina's
And she's
leg.
like topless, sobbing. And there's like little fairy like flying around.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the absinthe fairy.
Yeah. We talked about this in our last episode. Here she has this conical alien hair.
Updo.
Yes. Which is
very born this way.
The Gaga beehive.
Yes.
Yes.
Love the Gaga beehive.
Love this shoe. It was crazy when I saw it the first time. I was like, she's getting crazier by the day.
And again, this kind of like here, she's really like, she's 1/3 shoe, 1/3 her, 1/3 hair. Like,
yes, absolutely. It's just like unlike anything anyone did before or has done since. And I also love that the 5 ballerinas with her are wearing the same looks and the same shoes. Like 6 of everything were made, which is really fun. And like, again, this was like, she directed this music video. She like went all out for it. And who knows, maybe she used Gaga's workshop to pay for these ballerinas looks.
Period. All right, moving along. And again, we'll mention this is a non-exhaustive list.
Yes,
there are so many shoes.
Yes, just Google it.
Yeah, like, this is just like a notable selection.
It was overwhelming to research this.
So, November 2013, Gaga attends Glamour's 23rd annual Women of the Year Awards held at Carnegie Hall in New York City. She wears a pair of white 9-inch pleaser infinity sandals customized with over 2,000 pearls in various sizes. She wears a full look of Thom Browne's Spring-Summer 2014 collection featuring a latex blouse and a white skirt suit with pearl buttons, floral lace, and a military style cut with shoulder pads. She also wears white leather gloves adorned with pearls by Wing and Weft gloves. This look made headlines. The pale overpowdered foundation, full black eye contacts, wig set back farther than usual on her head was certainly a commentary on glamour.
Yeah, this is also one of my favorite looks of all time.
It's incredible.
I think it might be in my top 10 of Gaga looks.
It is so good. The shoe here, it's like, it looks so big. Like, obviously she's worn bigger shoes, but I think just because of how adorned the shoes are, like you get a sense of them being like heavy and hefty.
Yeah. And it's all about proportion. Like you said, these look ginormous here. And like in that other photo of her at the Tokyo airport, those are similar height and like they look tiny on her.
They look like her normal, like beat around casual shoe.
Yeah. And I love that, you know, the house customizes pleasers for certain looks and certain awards. And this is like probably the perfect quintessential example of that. And again, just the choice to appear to the Glamour Awards looking not beautiful traditionally. Right. Challenging beauty. You can see her wig line. You can see that they like glued down the front of her hairline and put foundation over it so the wig could sit farther back, which gives her forehead this kind of like, it like adds inches to her forehead.
It's this like Elizabethan, like pale powdered face, like receding hair.
Yes. This is Club Kid couture.
Yeah.
Like it's funny. I think people around this time were thinking that her like fashion was spiraling out of control because it wasn't. We've talked about this before. Born This Way was like really curated, and Art Pop, she kind of did everything, which is arguably more punk. And this is like such a great example of like, no, she had it together. Like, this is perfect.
Right. And I love this look because this was the era of yes, Gaga.
Yes.
And Gaga was being like terrorized every time she was in New York by this pack of little monsters that would follow her around and make these videos. And there's a funny video of her in this look running down the street, yelling help to her security. And there's like this pack of little monsters being like, yes, you look so good, Gaga, chasing her.
Yes.
And she is running in these heels.
Yes, as she fucking should. We'll put that in the carousel for sure. This is also an allusion to another famous look she did where she's basically wearing the same hair and makeup, but she's like covered in white body paint, barefoot, and
on the Berlin Wall.
Doing her like Venus arms in like a frock.
This art pop wig, forever famous.
I know. Where is she? I want her for LG7 in black.
Oh, please.
A little farther along in March of 2014, Gaga arrives to the Roseland Ballroom in New York City for her first of 7 nights performing there to close out this iconic venue. She wears an embellished semi-sheer nude bodysuit by Perry Meek with rose and crystal embellishments, paired with a red tulle mask with rose macrame details by Erin Fidanci. The insane pink leather booty heels she wears are from Longtron's Spring-Summer 2014 collection, which was named RIP. The shoes have 3 distinct platforms that touch the ground and then a 4th protruding from the heel that doesn't reach the ground. And they have these like red ribbons tied around them. I love these shoes as such an outlier in this list because the Tatehanas and the Pleasers will always dominate Gaga's tall shoe game. But these are like...
Yeah, like a one-off that somehow it's like, oh, they're not a Tatehana. Like, you know, they feel like so in that world and like something that she would maybe like have created for her and they just exist.
Right. And I
testament to the styling.
Yeah. I think she wore them in black at one point as well. There's something about this too that feels more, you know, we've talked about this. Gaga as machine, Gaga as nature. They feel Gaga as nature. She is dressed as a rose.
Yeah. She's like, and it's like this funny thing where it's like, she like anthropomorphized a rose. And it's like, this is what a rose's foot would look like.
Yeah. Are these the thorns?
Right.
Right. Yeah. They're pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like the curved nature. There's something like dinosaurish about them.
Yeah.
That's
it
like
is giving kind of like prehistoric. Yeah. I love this look.
Yeah. It's like perfectly goofy.
This look has been like kind of bouncing around some of the past like topics and things we've been talking about. And I feel like this is like a great time to talk about it.
Yeah, totally. The Roseland Ballroom era is something that we will do
more
a
to come there.
Dive on eventually. But look it up.
Jumping ahead a bit, we're at February 2016. Gaga attends the 2016 Grammy Awards to perform a tribute to the late David Bowie. Infamous tribute, scrubbed from the internet.
Absolutely.
Controversial.
Yes.
We are fans. Some are not, including David Bowie's own son.
And if he's listening, sign off.
Yeah. Arriving on the red carpet, she wears Pleasers 10-inch Beyond ankle strap pumps.
Beyond.
Custom covered in red satin and sequins on the sides. She also wears a custom blue dress coat by Marc Jacobs based on his Spring-Summer 2016 collection. It features gold, silver, and bronze embroidery and swirling surrealist motifs. Later in the night, she wears a white pantsuit and red gown by Marc Jacobs with similar designs, but the pantsuit includes symbols and designs that allude to Bowie's iconic career.
Yeah.
The shoe is hot.
This shoe is really hot. I was gagged when she showed up like this.
Yeah.
I was like obviously it's a Bowie tribute.
Right.
So like the hair is like this orange slicked back thing. And I like don't love this wig. I'll say it.
I love this wig.
I like how long it is, but from the front, I think they needed
it's looking a little Chicken Little.
Oh my God, girl. They needed to do just like one more touch on it.
Yeah.
And I get like, I don't know. There are certain things that like bother me about
I
wigs.
can tell that she was in a state that night because there's that video that you posted of like her with Brandon Maxwell and he's like doing like a duck face and like peace sign to the camera and she like swats his hand. She's like, no, this is an important night for me.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, no fun, silly shit.
Also backstage at this Grammy Awards, there's another video of someone screaming, yes, Gaga at
and
her.
the look that she gives the camera, she's terrified.
Diva, cunty, terrified of her fans mode. So good.
And then her like weeping, getting her makeup done, like the David Bowie tattoo.
Yeah.
Like she was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. And like the white pantsuit that she wears on stage again has like the Bowie motifs. Like she worked in collaboration with Marc on these Marc Jacobs on these pieces, which I love.
Marc, friend of the pod.
Yes, Marc, if you're listening,
we miss you.
I love the like short red wig. We're not talking about wigs, but we are talking about wigs always. I love the short one that she wears for that performance. And I also love that on this red carpet look, I know it's not related at all, but we know that Gaga loves The Wizard of Oz. And to me, these are like her ruby slippers because they do have sequins that are not as visible in this photo, but these are her ruby slippers. On a very
what I love about
night.
the shoe here is like, it looks like she like dinged the toe. Like, they're imperfect.
Totally.
Like she was like getting out of the car and was like, oh, fuck.
Maybe that's what he was fixing.
Maybe.
She was like, get to it. Yeah, no, this is one of the most iconic looks in her career, I think, for sure. I say that about every look that's been on this list. That's okay. And then later that year, in October of 2016, Gaga performs Ayo and Million Reasons on SNL. That's Saturday Night Live, if you didn't know. Gaga greets fans outside her New York apartment wearing the final look from Marc Jacobs' Spring-Summer 2017 collection, which includes the iconic retro-inspired 8-inch platform boots that the collection was kind of known for. The ones she wears have a pink and purple base boot with a rainbow crystal embellished platform. They're paired with a suede jacket with a purple mink sleeve, silky purple high-waisted shorts, and a purple paisley blouse. That was like a tongue twister. Gaga pairs the ensemble with a powder blue custom cowgirl hat from Gladys Tama's Millinery. Gaga's worn a lot of 8-inch platform boots in her lifetime, but she had a particular affinity for these in late 2016. And this is honestly one of the more eccentric looks that we see her in during the Joanne era. Like I remember seeing this and being like, ee!
Yeah, I got giddy when I saw it too. And yes, the Marc Kiki boots, like every girl out there is wearing them. But like this is a cute, fun little custom boot for her.
Yeah. She was really happy that night, I think.
Yeah.
Her performances were good and weird on SNL for Joanne.
Yeah.
So then to see her being like, yay, we did it, was like a good feeling. This was kind of a weird time for Gaga. And then notably, she wears a similar boot by Marc Jacobs in his fashion show in a very different look.
Yeah, very stark contrast there.
So that those kind of came in a close second when I was choosing between Marc boots to include.
And then we're in April 2020. Gaga releases the artwork for her album Chromatica, which came out the following month. On the cover, she wears an armor-like bodice, arm piece, leg brace, and heeled boot by Cecilio Castrillo. The boot is embellished with studs, spikes, O-rings, and chains. Most notably, the heel is a knife, and the bottom of the platform consists of smaller blades. On the other foot, Gaga wears the Howlin' Wolf Pump by Gasoline Glamour, custom made with beaded embellishments and a horn-shaped heel that extends beyond the platform. Two completely unfunctional shoes, fun to imagine Gaga lying there while someone puts them on her.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, one day we'll talk about the Chromatica album cover because I think it's important.
It's hugely important.
Hugely
both
important.
of us.
One of her best.
I think her best album cover.
Yeah, same. It's really powerful, evocative, and these shoes are cuckoo crazy. They're truly art. I love that we're ending this episode on some shoes that are absolutely not functional.
Right.
And what's funny is on this album cover, she's like crushed beneath the sine wave. And it's like, I don't know if that put you there or these shoes put you there,
right.
girl. Like,
you were already lying down. Yeah.
Yes. I believe in the Vogue series that's like looks in review or whatever, fashion in review. Gaga talks about these
She
shoes
does,
as
yeah.
well, and calls out gasoline glamour. She talks about the knife and talks about this like quality of fashion as art and not as functional. These shoes are iconic, and I believe the knife teal is currently in House of Gaga in Las Vegas,
which we'll be seeing shortly.
Absolutely. This was in 2020. Can we think of any notable moments that Gaga wore some really high shoes since then? I'm thinking about the Chromatica Ball film premiere in the white car look. She wears the classic pleaser boot in white.
Yeah. I feel like we've seen her a lot in pleasers, like big old pleasers.
Yeah.
I'm sure there have been more notable structural one-offs, but I really do think it's fair to say since her traumatic hip injury and struggles with fibromyalgia, like it is notable that her high heel game, while still very high, notably a smaller heel now. You know, she loves like just like a nice stiletto pump.
Totally.
Like when she's doing her lady gig and her jazz of it all, like just a nice little pump.
Yeah. And then, like I said, she was teasing Harlequin in a t-shirt and pleasers. Like that's her.
Yeah. And I think the shoe, like the big shoe that we saw, like during Chromatica was like that stacked, like buffalo, like club kid boot.
You can literally get them from like TUK, Dolls Kill. Like it's readily available, which I love that she, again, like with pleasers and with those, like wears shoes that we can buy. Yeah. I mean, I have a pair of those Beyond shoes here.
She has, now that I'm thinking about it, she has worn some big, interesting shoes, but they've been like stacked like platforms.
Totally. Yeah. And then I guess on like the VMAs, in 2020, she was wearing pleasers. Yeah. But
the Born This Way anniversary, she was walking around with those big glittery shoes. Yeah. There are a ton. And I'm sure we'll revisit this.
We're going to have so many shoe episodes.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think she's done wearing massive shoes.
No, me either. I think like in a editorial context, we will definitely see them again. I think like walking down the street, pleasers and chunky platforms are most likely, but like on stage, not that she's ever worn like Tatehana's on stage, let's be real.
Right.
But like, I don't think anything crazy.
Well, I think it's notable that the Chromatica Ball, she was in a flat. And at first we were like, oh my God. But then she fucking danced the house down boots. So I was like, okay,
I get it.
Wear the flats, girl. Wear
absolutely.
the flats.
She should. So yeah, that has been our episode detailing some of Gaga's highest heels, even Gaga's actual highest heels from the Vanity Fair shoot. So check out these looks in the carousel.
You shoe fetishists.
Yes. Well, thanks for listening, and you'll hear from us next time.
Bye.
Bye.